Pope Francis now lies in his final resting place following funeral proceedings earlier this morning. Last night, Vatican Cardinal Kevin Farrell presiding over the rite of sealing of the coffin, marking the end of public viewing in St. Peter's Basilica. Among those attending the funeral were President Donald Trump, former President Joe Biden, and other world leaders. NBC's Jay Gray reports live now from Vatican City. Jay, good morning to you.
David, good morning. And yeah, really it was a simple, modest ceremony, much like the man. A plain wood coffin atop the steps of St. Peter's Basilica. And those world leaders you talked about gathered around the foot of that coffin. But it was likely the hundreds of thousands behind that group that were standing, spilling out into the streets of Rome that would have impressed Pope Francis the most. That's the people that he loved to spend time with, the faithful, and what a crowd showed up for this event. It was amazing to see how many were drawn here. Drawn, they said, by the way he conducted his life, championing the poor, the disenfranchised, those who had been marginalized and didn't have a place in the Catholic Church. He seemed to open that up for many of those who wanted to worship as Catholics. It was great to see the service, as we said, simple, but certainly wrapped in the rites of the Catholic Church and the traditions that continued with that. The tradition, though, did give way to a final request from Pope Francis, a motorcade winding through the heart of Rome and leading to his favorite church, St. Mary Major. In fact, a church he visited more than 100 times during his 12 years as Pope here. His final resting place right next to his favorite icon of the Virgin Mary, and understated, as you would expect, with just the simple inscription Franciscus. And it's not built, he requested that it be in the ground. It's not built up into a huge display as we've seen with some of the past popes. But again, this was a man who really took to heart his vows as a Jesuit of poverty and modesty, and we saw that continuing even after his death, David.
Yeah, certainly an emotional morning for millions of people all across the world. Jay Gray live in Vatican City for us this morning. Jay, thank you. Well, 3 News spoke to the leader of the Catholic Diocese of Cleveland for his personal insight into Pope Francis. Auxiliary Bishop Michael Woost was appointed to his post a few years ago by Pope Francis himself and got to meet him twice at the Vatican. Bishop Woost telling us meeting the Holy Father is truly a one-of-a-kind experience.
It's a pretty overwhelming experience when you meet the Pope for the first time and just see that here is a man who is the father of our faith community and shepherding the entire church as the vicar of Christ on earth.
Bishop Woost says he believes the greatest legacy of Pope Francis will be his call to people to show mercy or unconditional love to others, no matter what the circumstances. Very powerful message there, no doubt about it.